I don't know if somebody, I don't know. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'll call to order the business meeting for the Faribault Public Schools School Board here on July 21st, 2025. Director Steves, do we have a quorum present?
Yes, Mr. Chair, there is.
Thank you. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next agenda item is approval of the agenda. Board members, I have a change in the agenda. If you go to item 6, the consent agenda, I'm taking out 6B, employment, and I'm putting that as agenda item right after that, 6B-2, employment to be discussed. Other than that, everything else is as presented. So is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Knudsen. Any discussion? Discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 3, recognition, awards, and presentations. There is none. Item 4, items of information report. First of all, school board members. Any school board member have any items to report? Director Wolf.
I just wanted to, I see him back there. Zach Pruitt? I don't know, can you just stand up a second? I don't know what'll catch you online or not. Anyway, this is your last school board meeting you'll be at with us, I believe, and so I think just a huge thank you, debt of gratitude to you and all your efforts, and I know we've hired to backfill, and I think she will, Ms. Riopel will do a wonderful job, but I've heard many people refer to you as a unicorn, nearly irreplaceable, and so just a huge thank you, and thank you for all you've done for our district and our students, and tremendous job you've done, so thank you.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Director Steves.
I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Wolf's comments. Zach, you've done tremendous things in our community, for our community, for our kids, for my kids, for everybody else's kids, and I think, Ms. Riopel, Cassie is going to do a great job, but you are that magical unicorn, and we wish you well on your next adventure. So I have a little bit of anecdotal data to share. So my kids are wrapping up their summer STEAM, and I have seen just tremendous growth in both their math, science, and reading skills throughout the summer. That program, I don't know, Zach touches about 200 kids in our community. And helps prevent the summer slide. It's a wonderful opportunity that's open to all the kids in our district. So closed off for this year. There's just 9 or so days left. But next year, I would encourage any parent out there to sign their kids up.
Great. Thank you, Director Steves. Director Boudreau.
I just want to wish you well, Zach, and you are definitely an overachiever. You've done your job well. And thank you for putting up with us and the questions we've asked you, some tough questions. And I just wish you well. We miss you.
Director Moore.
I'm going to deviate a little bit. I would like to say a couple of things here. I think some things need clarification. First, in the past, it has been alleged that I'm against LGBTQ students, and even they said hate. For clarification, I want to say that my biblical beliefs prevent me from condoning certain lifestyles. But there's a caveat to this, and my job is to make sure that every student who comes through our doors, whether black, white, binary, cisgender, or whatever, has a right as a human being to the best education possible. And I will do my utmost best to see that all, not just certain groups, but all students have the best education possible from Faribault Public Schools. Secondly, as a board member, we are responsible for the budget, and most of this comes from, I think, the taxpayer, whether at the federal, state, or local levels. And I do believe that the taxpayers have a right to know the revenue stream coming in and how it's being spent. We need total transparency, and that includes, with various programs with grant money coming in. And transparency is the foundation for trust. And at last month's meeting, I stated that DEI is in our Faribault Public School District. And I was asked, where is the proof? And when I started to reveal what I had found, I was cut off. So I am here right now to just give a short example. It is from the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion in Faribault Schools. It was from a grant. It was a bipartisan Safer Communities Act grant. And it says Safer Communities, but school safety was only one aspect of it. It was $500,000. It did promote some good things, but it also undercover promoted DEI. And in fact, on page 27, and I do have the grant, the cold copy of it, it asked how Faribault Public Schools will embed the basic principles and practices of equity, diversity, and inclusion. It also establishes that LGBTQIA plus groups in groups in Faribault Middle and High Schools. And they come under the full-service community schools, and also there will be training in cultural competency regarding LGBTQIA plus. This grant also promotes racial communities. Now, the Faribault Public School positions that must support this from the grant, from this DEI grant project, and they come from non-grant funded staff, so the grant does not take into account what these people are doing. And these non-grant funded staff that will be promoting this are the Behavioral Health Coordinator, Full Service Community School Coordinator, Youth Programs Coordinator, which is a new position, the RISE staff, Faribault Public School Community Education Director, and the Faribault Public School Teaching and Learning Department. Now, there are more grants and programs with lofty goals that have the hidden DEI agendas in them and plans. And I guess one of the things I'd like to say is by catering to only one or two groups, we are putting at legal risk not only our district, but administration staff as well. And this comes under the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And I think we should treat all groups equally, and I don't see that as happening with some of the things that are in our schools. And I have more examples. And other people have worked on this with me, so I do have some concerns there, because I know the February 28th, 2025 is when we were supposed to have DEI out of our schools. And if not, I know we have $6 million worth from the last audit, $6 million worth from the federal government, and also from something I saw online, I'm not sure, but I think $300,000 has been pulled already. I'm not sure. I saw this on, I think they were interviewing Superintendent Benty and maybe a few other, and I'm concerned about this. I think this should be a top priority, because we cannot lose all this money, and I think the tide has turned now, and we better get in with the flow, or we're going to be in a world of trouble with finances. Thank you for listening.
Do you have anything, Candace? Director Knudsen.
Well, I haven't worked with Zach much, but I've worked with people who have worked with him, and I know that, you're going to be sorely missed, and you've done so much to really, get things moving along here. And, I just appreciate all you've done, and hate to see you go, but wish you all the best. Oh, I should have been talking in here. Yeah, next time.
And from my chair, Zach, once again, thank you as a member of the District Advisory Committee for probably 3-4 years on their way. You just do a phenomenal job and have done for our kids. So thank you, and best wishes to you in your future endeavors. I really appreciate that. 4B, items of information, Superintendent Benty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Director Steves alluded to, our Summer STEEP program is in full swing. Just so you know, the mornings are focused on academics, and the afternoons at this program are dedicated to more hands-on exploratory learning. We have over 350 students that are enrolled in summer STEAM, and I got to spend about 2.5 hours today presenting to mainly upper elementary and middle school students around what it is that I do in the district and what my job is here in relationship to them. And it was interesting. They had a lot of really good, really in-depth questions. And they were very well thought out. It was quite refreshing to see how well versed they were. And I'm sitting there talking with, having a full-fledged conversation with fifth graders about what it is they want to do after they graduate from high school. It was quite interesting. It leads me to what Director Robichaud always says. You want to know how a kid's doing? Ask him, ask her. They'll tell you. And they did today. They had no problems letting me know what life was like for them. So I also just want to give a quick reminder to our families that starting this fall, pre-K and kindergarten students will attend Roosevelt Early Learning Center. Students in grades 1 through 5 will attend either Lincoln or Jefferson Elementary based on their school boundary, and those can be found on our website. Faribault Area Learning Center students will remain in their current building for this coming school year. And the McKinley building will not house any students this fall as construction is underway. And then for the following school year, the 26-27 school year, our ALC will move into the McKinley building. Enrollment numbers for the upcoming school year are looking strong. We've already exceeded our kindergarten registration goal. We had set a registration goal of 190, and as of last week, we had hit 194. So we're well on our way to probably topping out. My guess is somewhere a little over 200 is where we'll be. We've also enrolled 78 students from the approximate 200 who attended the Cannon River STEM School, and we've got about 70 other students that have not, that as we know, have not registered anywhere yet. So they will be getting a communication from me and the district probably sometime next week around what we have to offer for them. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't just thank Zach for everything that he's done for us. His work around the grants has been immeasurable. It has been one of the pieces that has allowed us to continue to offer programming for our students in our community, especially after school programming in the face of some of our budget reductions. And he really was instrumental as part of my cabinet, helping take us as an organization to that next level programming-wise. So he will be sorely missed. So thank you for everything. Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Venti.
Mr. Chair, can I ask Superintendent Venti one follow-up question?
Certainly.
Superintendent Venti, you mentioned enrollment numbers, kindergarten, and then 78 STEM students. Are you seeing any need as we sit here July 21st to potentially add another teacher at any level at this time?
No, we have a Google sheet, basically an Excel spreadsheet that is kept up every week with what our class numbers are and our class averages across our elementary. And right now we fall right in what we expect for our class averages. So right now we're doing just fine, but we are keeping our eye on one spot that we are keeping our eye on is 5th grade at Lincoln Elementary. If there were going to be any place that we would need to add, it would be there, but it has not hit that point yet. But those are updated weekly, and I look at them weekly. So,
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5 is public comment. We have 3 people who would like to comment publicly. Our first public commenter is Representative Keith Allen. Good evening, Representative Allen.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Chair, Board, Superintendent Venti. My apologies I didn't get here sooner. This session has been kind of a roller coaster since it started in January. As most people are aware, we are a part-time legislature, so we only operate a few months out of the year, and then the rest of the time we get to have the benefit of being able to be back in our districts and talking to people and working through bills and trying to figure out where we can find some common ground in order to be able to improve things for the betterment of our children and our lives here in our community. Just as a kind of a heads up, the legislature is tied, if you hadn't heard by this point in time. So the beautiful thing about a tie is it makes everybody work together in a more effective manner. So actually today I was up in the Twin Cities meeting with one of my colleagues, a Democrat colleague, trying to figure out where we could find some bipartisan things that we could work on specifically around how to be able to give more power back towards schools and offer more flexibility in terms of funding with grants, because as you are well aware of, and my school where my children go is Kenyon Winnemingo, which is another public school. Our schools are substantially different compared to metro schools, and it's the grants we have, this one-size-fits-all concept behind grants doesn't necessarily work and meet our children where they're at and what they particularly need. And as a board and as a superintendent, it's the conversations I've had with you all, along with multiple superintendents and boards throughout this district here in 19A, they have made that very clear. So that's some of the stuff I work on in the off season, is trying to be able to find where we can find some common ground to be able to bring the schools better resources that are more effective and, like I said, meet children where they're at in terms of their needs. Some of the things I've worked on this last session, I had a milk bill, which basically allowed, instead of having to give a child an entire lunch, we would give them a milk if they bring their own meals from school. Something that's common sense, something that we're finding is an issue throughout the entire state of Minnesota. The bill itself would cost about $9 million, but it would save the Minnesota taxpayers close to $42 million across the entire state. So it's trying to find bipartisan, common sense solutions to be able to help our schools and basically educate children in a much more effective way and meet them where their needs are at. So with that, I know you have a lot in front of you. I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I truly appreciate the conversations I've had with many of you at this point in time, and I hope to hear from more of you and be your voice at the Capitol as we go into the February session coming up next year. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Representative Allen. Next is Kathy Hoban. Good evening, Kathy.
Good evening. Superintendent Benty, Chairperson Bellingham, and board members. I'm Kathy Hoban. Just to give you a little background of where my mind is coming from, I'm a former human resource manager for a Fortune 500 company. I am a Six Sigma Green Belt, and I am a retired global supplier quality manager for Bosch Corporation. So I've traveled throughout the world, worked with many cultures, and one of the things that is very challenging in the business environment is the basic fundamentals that our people are coming out of school with. The basics of math, reading, science, problem solving, those types of things. And so I'm also very data driven. So one of my questions to you, and I'll send you all of this information via email, is what specifically is being done to raise the scores in all of the basic fundamental skills that our students need to enter the workforce. I hate to sound kind of nitpicky, but I don't care what the flavor of the month pronoun is. I want somebody who can add, subtract, is good at problem solving, great at science, to give us all a competitive edge in this world. So I really want to know what specifically are your plans to increase those test scores. Are you using a specific problem-solving process? And if so, what would that be? 8D, 7-step? You maybe have something in the educational group. I'm also concerned about, Harvard used to be the best of the best, and it's very disconcerting to hear that they're having remedial math classes now. That's very disheartening. Have we taken the DEI out of our classrooms in the district? I know sometimes they get buried down into the grants that we are getting approved on, and we were mandated to get that removed by the end of February. So I had asked back in March whether that was taken out, and I was told that they were waiting for legal counsel and to everything work through the federal and state governments. Also, I'm hoping you're all familiar with SMART goals. If you're not, you can Google it. And that means that, you know, your goals, whether it be you, Mr. Benty, Chad, anybody in this room, your teachers, your coordinators, your anybody, your paras, they should all have SMART goals with measurable outcomes. And I am hoping that you all have those, and if not, why don't you? And then the last thing that I have is when you get a grant, is it my understanding that you hire perhaps a coordinator? My question is, what happens to that coordinator when that grant is fulfilled? Because we as an educational system should be just like a corporation, that you are charged with producing a viable product, our children, who are capable of entering the workforce as a productive component of society. Was that the bell that I'm done?
That is the bell, yes.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Kathy.
much.
Next, Vicki Olson. Good evening, Vicki.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Vicki Olson, and I'm going to read this from my phone. I am a fourth generation Faribault High School graduate, and my three children are fifth generation Faribault High Schools. I taught in this school district, for over 20 years, probably 30. With my colleague Vicki Sudine and I, we taught 10 semester credits for the University of Minnesota in college and the schools. My own two children, because they were products of Faribault High School, were able to take those 10 semester credits to Arizona State and to Eau Claire, respectfully. I'm here today because I have issues with the online program. I don't think that they should have a Faribault High School diploma. I think it should say Faribault Online Academy. I have master credits in technology, and I also taught German online for 15 years through I think it was called Northwest Service Co-op in northern Minnesota. Let me just tell you an incident where you need to understand these kids are cheating. In the spring of 21, I had a long-term sub-gig in the Metro. It required me to hold my computer's camera. This was in 21 when the kids were just coming into the building for the first time. The ninth graders had never been in this building. So I was required as a classroom teacher to hold my computer up so that the 12 kids who were still at home, who were afraid of bringing COVID to their grandparents, or whatever reason they stayed home for, and then the 15 kids I had in front of me in the classroom. I was required to hold my computer so that the online kids could watch me teach, and the classroom kids, of course, were there. And if instead of writing on the board, I wrote in my computer, so that the kids I took attendance, and they were supposed to show up in class. Because of the way I tested, my classroom students got A's and B's. They were thrilled, because they knew that the homeschool kids were flunking. They knew because kids talk. And these kids had gotten A's the first two trimesters until I came in. But I knew they were cheating to get those A's. And so they flunked. Over half of the kids at home that stayed home flunked. My point is, you have to believe these kids are cheating. I'm just going to accept the fact that you have to know that they're cheating. And if you don't believe they're cheating, trust me, they're cheating. And part of the, Kathy brought up, part of the thing, maybe if they weren't cheating, our test scores would be better. They're cheating. I just don't think they should have the same diploma as Faribault High School students that are in the building. I think that those kids have proven themselves, and the online kids are able to cheat. And I think you're devaluing the Faribault High School diploma by allowing this. So that's my thing.
Thank you, Vicki. Next agenda item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the minutes from the June 23rd, 2025 and July 14th, 2025 business meeting and work session, additional assignments and other, and authorization of payments, transfers, and investments accounts. So is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Is there a second? Thank you, Director Boudreau. No discussion. So all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to agenda item 6B2, approval of employment. Is there a motion for 6B2 for approval of employment? Thank you, Director Boudreau.
Second?
Thank you, Director Steves is a second. And discussion. And Director Moore, you asked that this one be pulled, so
Yes.
I will
Thank you.
go to you first.
Yes, that's the employment 6B. And so, every month we are asked to approve of hiring or rehiring staff. And with our current budget situation, I think we as a board really need to take a hard look and evaluate what the role is for each position and how effective is that role in increasing achievement. Secondly, I see that we are hiring a RISE staff person. Is that a new position, or is that just a rehire? Well, that's okay.
The RISE position is replacing someone who is resigned.
Okay. One of the things I have a concern about is Health Finders now. I found this partnering with us, who we are partnering with RISE, and I think it's a MESA, Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement Program for Latino and Somali youth. I guess I'm questioning, what about the Asians or the whites? We can say that it's open to everyone, but in practice, why aren't more whites or Asians involved? I think we may be inadvertently violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And if we are, in the audit, the last audit, we've had $6 million in federal funding, and we've also had $300,000, from what I am understanding, eliminated. I don't know if we should be hiring another one, and I would like to take that position out. It's nothing personal against anyone, it's just that I think we may be in violation of something here, and I'd like to see that removed. Thank you.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Director Wolf.
my question is, so since we pulled this from an action item, and we've got a motion in a second, you're at the discussion phase. Ms. Moore, did you just make an amendment to what is here, or what?
Yes, I'd like to take an amendment to pull that position, if I may.
Okay.
And, yeah, yes.
Mr. Chair, can I follow up with that?
Certainly.
Superintendent Benty, and maybe you'll redirect this to some of the staff in the room, but what would the impact be if we? Oh, I'm
We-
sorry.
Second.
So just hold on, I just want,
To discuss it, okay.
okay.
We need a second to discuss it, okay.
From my world, there is not a proper motion yet. So I'm going to go back to Director Moore. Will you phrase this?
Okay.
And you said your recommendation, so we need a proper motion.
Okay.
And then a second, and then we can discuss.
I would like to make a motion to remove that, it's actually the last position recommended to hire. consider the approval of the RISE mentor. I'd like to pull that from the agenda. I'd like to make a motion. Thank you.
So your motion is to remove the approval of the RISE mentor at the high school?
Correct.
From the, okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, a second. Discussion on the amendment.
Okay, Mr. Chair, now can I ask?
You may,
Superintendent?
Director Wolf.
Thank you. So Superintendent Benty, what would be the impact of not hiring a RISE mentor in this position? Bless somebody. I don't know if this is one of one or one of three or one of five, and what would the, bless you, what would be the impact on students and that
So
whole
we have
program?
9 RISE employees. 6 are paid for by the Alina grant. 2 come from our state-funded ADSIS grant, and 1 is through special education. So RISE is a program that is about for helping all students. It's not race or based, and it is the extra help that they need to become successful high school graduates. What we have seen is that this past year, students that went through the RISE program had a 90% graduation rate. So it is a program that we are seeing immense success with, that a program that we are seeing that is meeting the needs of our students and getting them to the ultimate goal, which is our graduation, which has been one of the goals of our school board. That is the program that we have. By eliminating this, you will not add any money back to the general fund. It is grant-based, so it's, like I said, it doesn't add to or subtract from our general fund.
Thank you.
Further discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair,
Director Moore.
thank you. With many grants too, it is coming, even though it doesn't come out of the general fund, it does come out of, most of this money is coming out of taxpayer money, whether it's federal, state, or local. And I'd like to see a figure on some of this. But my concern is that you could say something that it's open, but in practice, are we doing that? And so that is my concern. And I think with the new administration at the federal level there, I think we better be very careful as to what we do. And the sooner we take out, to me, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, this sounds very good. And I am for that, as long as it's not focusing on one group. And we are not doing that, I don't think. So we could get into, even if we do win a lawsuit, we could get into a potential lawsuit, and I don't know what it would be for the employees or not. So that is my concern.
So
Any further discussion? Director Steves?
I just did a quick Google search, RISE, which stands for Realizing Individual Student Excellence. At RISE, we are committed to serving Faribault students and working with the wider community to ensure that a bright future is open to all. So I think everybody on this board has eyes, and I am not a person of color. I can tell you that my nephew, who is also not a person of color, had very wonderful experiences, helped him get through some pretty difficult times after my mother's death, and helped him continue towards academic success. I am in support of this position, like all of the positions, on the list. I'm not sure if it's related, but as a reminder, myself as a board member, the rest of our board members, we have 1 employee in this district, and that is Mr. Benty. So again, to reiterate, I am not in support of the amendment. I am very much in support of the RISE program.
Discussion.
Mr. Chair, I have a
Director
question.
Boudreau.
I guess it would be for Director Moore. I'm still a little bit confused why we would not hire someone that, when we have a slot that's open, are you concerned about the program itself or the curriculum, or what is your concern? Because this doesn't save our budget any money. This
But it's
doesn't,
still taxpayer money.
well, everything's taxpayer
Yes.
money within our school system, but this is a position that we have held. And I need to better understand what Your
One of the
concern
things
is-
I was concerned about, and this was several months ago, I went on, and there were supposed to be some demographics there, and there was nothing. So I just have some concerns that, some concerns about the RISE program. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but
Okay. Well, thank you for answering that, but I still think we're lacking a reason to undermine our human resource people and those who are assigned to take care of keeping our positions full for the student population that we have. And I think it's very concerning that we would just try to eliminate some position, just pick one off of the list, when we really aren't as saying we're not knowledgeable of why. I still don't know the why. And I'm just concerned that this would just be something we would consider.
Any further discussion?
I would like to know.
Director Moore?
Yes, I would like to know too, I know we improve in graduation rates, but if the achievement levels aren't going up, we're churning out students that probably aren't meeting certain standards. And I'd like to see, versus graduation rates, I'd like to see some achievement, statistics on that. Is the program working? And I've heard some anecdotal evidence that I cannot speak of, but not everyone, I don't think, thinks the program is that good. And so I have to be very careful here. So that's my stand.
Director Knudsen?
So I guess one of the things that I had heard was that it was grant funded and that the funding was running out, but maybe that's not accurate.
That is not accurate at this point, no.
Okay, and then because the high school is my school, I was surprised to hear that there's 9 staff members working there. And, and I've walked past there a number of times. I don't see a lot of students in there, so I don't know how many are, how many students are we supporting in that program? Do we have any idea?
Do you have a number?
Next year it'll be 40% of the high school.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And some students I know that meet in there, once a day. Some students meet in there once a week if needed. So it is
Okay.
a very tailored program based on what their needs are.
And I think it's gotten better. So I know when 5 years ago, you would just see tons of kids hanging out in there. So now it does look like they are, working with an adult in there and getting support. I'm just hoping it's all beneficial.
Mr. Chair, I would like to just bring forward that response that one of our staff persons mentioned when that 40% of our high school population is benefiting from this program. Maybe if we have concerns about the program improving or making improvements, that's one thing, but to just take it upon ourselves without the knowledge we even have of how many students are benefiting, I'm concerned that we would try to just stop someone from being hired.
Mr. Chair?
Director Moore?
Yes, I'd like to know, do students get pulled out of class from RISE? Or do they get pulled out of class sometime?
RISE is a program that is based off of when some will leave class to go to RISE. Others will have maybe a before school or after school meeting, but it is during the school day, yes. If there's a study hall in their schedule, they try as best they can to pull them out during that time period.
But sometimes they don't, so is this taking away their
It would be
educational time?
it would be the exact same as with counselors or administration that needs to meet with a student. When I was principal, when I was assistant principal, I would pull kids out of class to talk with them and work with them. Counselors do the same thing. So it's a very extremely common practice that happens across counseling, administration, world for that.
Again, board members, the motion is to amend the recommendation to hire to eliminate the approval for hiring of the RISE mentor at the high school. Director Knudsen, did you have something?
Oh, I probably forgot what it was. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Further discussion. All right, we're ready to vote. So a yes vote means you're in favor of the amendment to eliminate the approval of hiring of the RISE mentor. A no vote, you're not in favor of the amendment. So, Director Steves, let's do a roll call on this, please.
Sure. Linda Boudreau,
No.
Candace Knudsen,
No.
Linda Moore,
Yes?
Cassie Steves, no. Chad Wolf,
No.
John Bellingham.
No.
Amendment fails.
Well, amendment fails 1-5. So we're back to the original motion to approve the employment recommendation to hire and employment contracts. Any further discussion? Discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
Motion passes 5-1. We'll move on to our reports. District Advisory Committee, there's no report. Policy Committee, there's no report. Finance Committee, there is a report. That would be me. So I'm just going to report on the Finance Committee minutes, as in board book, et cetera, from the June 16th, 2025 meeting. What the committee went over was contract agreements, bids, and review. That we did reviewed the P&C insurance rates, and the majority of what I'm going to speak about was already approved at the June 23rd business meeting. So also we talked about food service management, our agreement with Sodexo, the SubSec joint agreement, the Cannon Valley Special Ed Co-op. There we also discussed the vended meals agreement with the various charter schools, Nurse Strand, Head Start, Surratt Academy. There also we discussed the Minnesota State Academies and Faribault Public Schools tuition agreement. That was approved. We discussed the grant manager there as well, which was approved at that meeting. We talked about the Nurse Strand building lease for 2 months as we're in a process of sale of that property. As far as financial performance, the committee discussed our May student counts was a decrease of 16 students. As of June 16th, we were sitting at 2,942 students attending, and we projected 3,034, so we were under there. Our May comprehensive financial report, as we knew, HVAC reported zero expense in May 2024. There were rebates in May of 2024. Rebates were finished in September. Now we're showing expenses as we should. Self-insurance revenues are coming in pretty close to what we had budgeted. We're expecting expenses to be $2.7 million by the end of the 24-25 school year. As you know, the board did approve a increase in payroll contributions for 15% of the self-insurance for premiums for next year. Our May investment reports, our investments are looking very strong. May analytics, our building, construction, and food service is what driving our expense over revenue projections. Our revenue from the sale of bonds for our HVAC project was received in full a year prior, but now we are incurring expenses in order to complete the projects. We're multi-general year fund. We're right on track where we should be, and there are no issues. We've received roughly 80% of our revenue and spent 80% of our expenditures, which we want to be at this time of the year. Financial strategies, we reviewed the proposed budget for fiscal year 26. I believe we approved that as well at the June 23rd meeting. So that is the Finance Committee report. Director Boudreau or Wolf, do you have anything else to add from that?
I was absent, so
Okay,
I
sorry
have nothing to add.
about that. Director Boudreau, anything there?
Nothing to add.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Director Moore?
This is on comparative financial report, and it was comparing fiscal year 24 2024, year-to-date through June 2024, fiscal year 25, year-to-date through June 25, expenditures, administration fees. For 24, there were 349,000. For 25, it's 525,000. That's 175 or 176,000 increase. I'd like to know, why is that?
From my understanding, being on the insurance committee, it went up because as the administrative fee is a per-user fee. So as you can see, our expenditures for health insurance have gone up dramatically. So the more use by our users, the higher the administrative fee. That's why we're there.
So it's a user fee.
So, and I believe we reviewed that previously, and we talked about it at our last meeting as well. So this is the third time we've talked about that, but it's good to know with that. So yes, there's definitely, anytime there's a higher use, there's going to be a higher administrative fee. Committee reports, facilities committee meeting, directors Moore and Wolf.
Oh, okay, thank you, Jeanette. You can add anything, okay. We actually didn't have some meetings, but we did have a very detailed email from Kane Smith. And as far as the Lincoln HVAC, that's been completed. We're talking about HVAC now, upgrades. The high school should be done in August. Jefferson, I think, should be done by August. I think McKinley, of course, that's where we don't have to, we're not under a time deadline with McKinley, but they are working on that. Do you have anything else to add on that, Chad? Or?
I don't know.
Yeah. And then also, I should mention this too, that the health and safety manager, Matt Krennick, has left, but I guess he will be available for assistance if needed. So we want to thank the health and safety manager, Matt Krennick, the former one, that he will be available if needed for assistance. So we thank you for that.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 10, other matters, update superintendent evaluation. So once again, by law, I reported on this at the work session, but now that we're live to the public here, et cetera, I'll repeat that once again. So this notice is dated July 2nd, 2025. The Faribault Public Schools School Board met in a closed session on June 23rd, 2025 to discuss the results of the 2024-2025 superintendent evaluation. A rating score was used on the following three goals set by the school board. Goal 1 was off of Standard 1, Governance Team, Element 1B, Goals and/or Strategic Plan. And the goal was to facilitate the development of a strategic plan and mission statement that aligns with the school district's short and long-term measurable goals. Goal 2 was Standard 3, Communication and Community Relationships, Element 3F, Visibility and Approachability. And the goal is visible and approachable to students, staff, and community. Excuse me. Goal 3 was from Standard 7, Student Support, Element 7D, Student Discipline. Defines expectations for student behavior and conduct through policies that identify behaviors subject to discipline, enforces violations of student discipline policy, and communicates expectations for student behavior to parents and students. After review and discussion of the evaluation scores and comments, the board has concluded that Superintendent Benty has worked on and has met those goals to be a developing and effective leader for Faribault Public Schools. The board looks forward to working in partnership with Superintendent Benty for a successful 2025-2026 school year. John Bellingham, Chair. Item 10B, gifts and donations. So,
Mr. Chair?
yes,
Because
Director
I know
Moore.
we talked about the superintendent evaluation. One of the things I would like to see is too, I think we should include the teacher and staff evaluations. I know that it may be, we send out a survey, but I don't think we need to because I think we do the climate survey every year, I believe. And I think there's some questions asked about that too. So I really think as the board, we should consider, teachers and staff too, what their position is and how they feel. So
That'll be
otherwise,
noted.
I don't think it's a complete evaluation.
That will be noted in the upcoming
Thank you.
goal setting.
Thank you.
So next is the gifts and donations, Resolution 26-01. So before we have a motion for approval of Resolution 2601, here is the resolution. Resolution 26-01, approving acceptance of the following gifts and donations. Donations to Little Falcons in memory of Ed Duzbavic. Johnson Charitable Gift Fund, care of Eric and Kay Murphy, $5,000. Whitney and Carrie Foster, $100. Donations to The Nest, Faribault Foundation, $9,798.46. Weddings by Deb, multiple prom dresses, men's dress clothes and shoes. Lakeville Raising Canes donated 400 certificates for free kids combo, estimated value $2,796 for summer STEAM. The Petra Foundation donated $20,000 through the Faribault Booster Club for the Faribault High School Golf Center. Federated Insurance donated $100 through the Faribault Booster Club for the Faribault High School Golf Center. Faribault Booster Club donated $16,271.70 for new equipment in the Felix Fitness Center. Is there a motion for approval of Resolution 26-01, accepting gifts and donations?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Steves. Is there a second?
That was Boudreaux,
Oh, I'm sorry, Director.
but I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion by Director Boudreau, and I apologize. Second by Director Steves. Discussion.
An incredible thank you to our incredibly generous community. Once a month, we get to accept these gifts and donations, and it is a true testament to our generous community. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. I think
Director Boudreau.
it's also a testament to the support that we have in the community for our students and our school system. And I thank each and every one of them. We're talking $50,000 here, more than that. That's just phenomenal. I don't know how many school boards are able to have that kind of support, and it is really heartening. It's heartening for the board, and it will help our students with a lot of extracurriculars and a lot of needs, especially prom dresses. That's pretty cool. And things they need, personal items they need. So thank you to all who gave those large contributions. It's amazing.
Yes, thank you. Anything else? Again, thank you, community. Thank you to the individuals as well and the foundations as well for your generous contributions. As I talk with many board people on the board and employees of different school districts, they are absolutely astounded how much money we bring in gifts and donations every month. So, I mean, this is virtually every month we have this month. So thank you, public, and for all you do with that. So we have a motion and a second for accepting Resolution 26-01 on gifts and donations. Director Steves, this is a resolution, so the roll call, please.
Linda Boudreau,
Aye.
Candace Knudsen,
Aye.
Linda Moore,
Aye.
Cassie Steves, aye. Chad Wolf,
Aye.
John Bellingham.
Aye.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Next, consider approval of the 25-26 student handbooks for Roosevelt. Okay, so we're going to pull out from that list here. We're going to pull out Faribault Area Learning Center and deal with that separately as requested by Director Moore. So the motion will be approval for the 2025-2026 student handbooks for Roosevelt Early Learning Center, Jefferson Elementary School, Lincoln Elementary School, Faribault Middle School, Faribault High School, and Faribault Online Academy. Is there a motion for approval of the student handbooks?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Is there a second? Director Boudreau seconds it. And any discussion on any of those?
Mr. Chair?
Director Moore.
Yes. I noticed with many of these handbooks, we have 7 handbooks now, and then one with the ALC. But there's many as 47 pages in these handbooks. And with many of these handbooks, the term equitable, social emotional learning, SEL, whole child, they're used quite a bit. And what I'd like to know is have we ever identified or defined all of these terms? And because before I give my stamp of approval on anything, I want to know specifically what I'm approving. And also I have to mention too, defining a term may be different than the practical application of the term. And according to the Courage as a Habit, social emotional learning is the delivery system for CRT, or we can say DEI. And DEI is an ideology that has crept into our schools, and I will say that time and again. And with, as I said before, diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm all for that concept, as long as it includes all races and we treat every group of students equitably. But my question is with this, but what about the Christian or Somali students who don't believe in a certain lifestyle? You know, these students don't want to see information as they walk into a classroom that violates their belief system. And this causes, when it violates a belief system, it causes students distress. And it's cognitive dissonance, if you will. And I'm thinking when all of this cognitive dissonance and with this stress, doesn't that cause mental health problems as well? There's also a possibility, if we're catering to one group and not the other, we're violating Civil Rights Act of 1964. And I do want to mention too that I'm really with social emotional learning. It's nice to have people, you know, connect, teachers connect and have a relationship with students, but that's one thing. But according to CPL, Child Protection League, the purpose of SEL is to change attitudes, values, and beliefs. That's not what we're supposed to do in school. We're supposed to teach reading, writing, and math. And also, according to this same organization, mask the CRT, or critical race theory agenda. And I guess also I want to mention too, they mentioned CASEL, which does really promote SEL. CASEL is the lead SEL organization, and they're radical. And we have to be careful about the DEI in this district. And I know I keep pounding and pounding, but at some point it will come, we will have to rectify with that, and we may lose money. And I'm very concerned about that. Thank you.
Further discussion? Last call for discussion. We have a motion for approval of the 2026 student handbooks for all the schools listed except the Faribault Area Learning Center. So all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 5-1. Next, we'll have a motion for approval of the 2025-2026 student handbook for the Faribault Area Learning Center. Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion.
Move for approval by Director Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Boudreau. And discussion. Director Moore, since you asked this one to be pulled, I will refer to you first.
Thank you. I just want to say congratulations to, they got it down to 6 pages. You know, I like brevity, and I think it's clear, precise, and easily readable to parents and the public. And just to get a little extra word in here too, I think the ALC is a great program and they have great staff. And I think we deserve to give them a little clap here. So, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Director Boudreau.
yes, there are varying lengths of these handbooks from 6 pages to 47, but that's irrelevant. Some use links. They use links so you don't have to print the whole page. And I'm not suggesting this, but I'm wondering if our elementary schools could even, you know, get together and have a similar handbook that's quite the same. I noticed there's, you know, we're going to have a new mission statement, and some of them have the mission statement in there, and I'm just hoping that maybe the timing is a thing that they may not have it in. So I'm just asking if maybe it could be corrected after our meeting tonight. guess it's up to the school.
Well,
Just a comment.
It's noted,
It's
yes.
not a question.
Okay. Any further discussion for motion for approval of the student handbook for the Faribault Area Learning Center?
Just a point of clarification. So on the memorandum, it says it changed the date, the school year to 25-25. I would assume it's 25-26.
The typo, yes, typo there, yeah. Mhm.
I did, with this and all of the other handbooks, I did appreciate the changes on one
Memorandums,
sheet of
right,
paper.
memorandums are nice, yes. Further discussion? Okay, we have a motion for approval. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, we have 10D. Consider approval of fiscal year 26 MOU and LEA agreement between Faribault and Elysian Head Start Center. Ms. Raisel, you're on for the next two items, so if you'd like to, if you would come up, please, so we could ask you questions here. So, is there a motion for approval of the fiscal year 26 MOU and LEA agreement between Faribault and Elysian Head Start Center?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. I will second that motion. And discussion, and with that, and sorry, Mr. Daner, I should have included you right away as
No,
well.
that's okay. She asked me to come up here.
Okay.
She wanted to make sure she had a partner.
So, Ms. Raisler, if you would like to take over or designate who you would like to talk about that, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Bellingham. I would very much like Mr. Dana to speak to this memory.
So the Head Start contract is something that we're required to renew each year. It just confirms our responsibilities for Child Find and making sure we identify and serve any student who is designated as a student with a disability in the Head Start program.
Thank you. Discussion, board members.
Mr. Chairman.
Director Moore.
Yeah, thank you. I know, and I did get a reply from Superintendent Benty, that since the U.S. Department of Education has been dismantled, this is still in effect, this child find plan with IDEA, correct?
Yeah,
It is, from what I
as
understand.
far as I know, as of this morning, the Department of Education is still operational. But even with that, IDEA is actually, IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Act, where the Child Find legislation comes from, is actually celebrating its 50th anniversary this November. So I believe that it is still in effect. No, I don't believe. I know that it is still in effect, and hopefully it will be in effect for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think it does a nice job helping students, especially at an early age, get the things that they need in order to be successful later in school.
I know I can attest to that as a parent many years ago. Our daughter had a speech problem, and it was caught, and they did refer, and so I do appreciate that. I think we need to do that. Sometimes when I'm looking through these things, especially with all this DEI stuff, with the remedial services, they could talk about indirect services. I'd like to know a little more about these services, but and also I saw from the comprehensive sex education that they're trying to push that through K through 12 now again. I guess my question is for the remedial services and indirect services. I guess this is a yes or no question. Is this, I know the assessments are free of DEI. Will any of the assessments, the services include DEI with gender? I guess it's a yes or no question.
No, this is early childhood.
Okay, so it'll be
We're
no.
Focused
Okay.
on colors and shapes and
All right,
numbers.
that's good. And because one of the things is that when we get to items to vote on, it's already said and done. And I'd like, as a school board, as a member of the school board, to be more involved at the beginning. So all of a sudden it's brought before us, and then I've got a lot of questions. So I don't know if that would be possible or not, sometimes to bring some of these, even with some of the grants, just to have some knowledge as to what's happening instead of right at the end, because then I've got so many questions. So thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Further questions or discussion? Questions or discussion? We have a motion for approval of the fiscal year 26 MOU and LEA agreement between Faribault and Elysian Head Start Center. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Agenda item 10E, consider approval of the 10-year LTFM plan. So there's a motion for approval of the 10-year LTFM plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Is there a second? Thank you, Director Boudreau. And discussion, once again, I'll turn it over to Ms. Raisler. And by the way, this, board members, this was approved by, this agenda item was approved by the Finance Committee a week ago today.
Thank you. Each year, the school board is required to approve a 10-year LTFM plan. The gist of it is to ensure that our school board is aware of our facilities and upcoming projects that we may have. It is a 10-year plan, which means that after about the third year, it's kind of useless, but it is a requirement. But it does allow us to do some long-term planning. And so what you're seeing here, last year you would approve the fiscal year 26. So the current year that we're in, you actually approve a year ahead. And so Kane and I thought it would be most useful to discuss items that are upcoming so that you have knowledge of what we feel is going to be worked on of most importance. So I did work with the Director of Buildings and Grounds, Kane Smith, on this. So the things to mention is, like Director Moore mentioned already, the McKinley remodel. So that will be the biggest project that we have going on this year. Things that will be remodeled at the McKinley building include the HVAC project. We will be doing some wall constructing. We have to take a room and turn it into an art room and turn a different room into a science room. We will be working on the kitchen. We're also going to be working on the front office and making it more of a secured entrance for everyone. Roosevelt, this summer, we're working on the sidewalks to make them safer for our littlest learners, and so that's a project that's going to be ongoing. At the high school, we're going to be working on the flooring of the pool deck and in the locker rooms. Those are in need of repair. For Lincoln, again, as Director Moore mentioned, we're going to be doing the HVAC. And actually for Lincoln, that should be done. But then we are going to be doing a chiller project in fiscal year 27 for the Lincoln site. Middle school, we will be doing some roofing in FY 27, and that's for the venting on the roof. We talked a little bit about that pad, so that's going to be done in 27. And then this year, we are working on parking lots at all of our sites except for Nurse Strand and the ALC. So those are just kind of some of the highlights. So when you look at this report, each item is signified by the type of long-term facility item that it is, or category, if you will. And so when you get down to the bottom, we have our Fund 1 categories that we've got expenses for, as well as the revenue then that we anticipate to get in. So if you scroll down to the second page, you can actually see then some totals, as well as then what the fund balances are going to look like. So happy to say that we are going to be positive in all of the fiscal years that we have going through. And depending on if we're able to move some projects that we had kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit, we might be able to pull some of those back into more current years. When Kane and I did the budget for fiscal year 26, we were trying to be as conservative as possible to ensure that we can get all of those HVAC projects done in a timely fashion. So right now, we do have the enough funds, and we'll actually have leftover funds to be able to do more of those HVAC projects. And we have glycol That's one of the expenses that we have to put in for the the coolants or whatever for each of those buildings. We can use some of our HVAC project funds, the bond money, to pay for some of those. So that will definitely help us, and it'll help save a little bit of money going forward. So if there are specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Board members, questions? Pretty quiet, that's a good thing, okay? But I know in the finance committee with Directors Boudreau and I and Director Wolf, very well explained visions, et cetera, so thank you for that. So it was very understandable and visionary down the road, 10 years. At least 3 for sure, right?
3 for sure.
Okay, good. No further discussions. We have a motion for approval of the 10-year LTFM plan. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. 10F, consider approval of the second reading of the Faribault Public Schools Vision Plan. Is there a motion for approval of the Faribault Public Schools Vision Plan?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Steves. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Discussion here, so for the general public's information, 3 board retreats. And once we discussed visions and reviewed them and had board input, et cetera, great input from Mr. Benty and as to where we're going with our visions, and we end up with 6 visions. As you can see on board book, Vision 1 is enhanced student achievement, and with all of these, we had expanded expected outcomes and strategies. Vision 2 is maintain and grow financial health. Vision 3 is enhance high-quality facilities. Vision 4, advance high-quality technology. Vision 5, grow professional development and human resources. And Vision 6 was effective communications. All of those have expanded expected outcomes and strategies for the district. Any further discussion, board members, on this for the second reading and approval of the vision plan? Director Moore.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I see the vision is quite long, and then I see that there's some very good ideas in that. I guess I'm concerned about how feasible is all this. Are there systems in place to measure our outcomes? How much is the cost? How much time is this going to take? For achievement, too, I know there was no direct teacher input, and I think teachers should have had a part in this. As far as student achievement, the strategies, some of them, we say align with the social studies curriculum. I know it's mandated, but it is a radical agenda. And developed grants programs. My question is, are they going to have hidden agendas? Because we've seen that in our programs. And if they do have hidden agendas like DEI or with our programs, what will happen if, like I said, I keep repeating this. The deadline was February 25 to remove all DIE from our district, and we get $6 million according to the last audit. I know a lot of work went into this, and I only attended the first one because I did mention to, I think, our administration and our chair that, in my opinion, our number one task at the beginning of this year should have been concentrating on eliminating DEI so that we will not lose that money and would eliminate any possibility of legal ramifications for our district and its employees. I think the tide has turned and we better flow with it. And also DIE takes away, diversity, equity, inclusion, DIE takes away time and resources from teachers who really want to do their jobs. So I had a problem with this from the beginning, so. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I'd like to thank the board members who attended the sessions in put our discussion forward. It was a little, we had quite a few very good debates and open discussion, and looked at everything, and yes, I believe we have the systems in place to get these visions accomplished. So I'd like to thank everyone. So we do have a motion for approval of the second reading of the vision plan. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 5-1. 10G, is the first reading of the new mission statement. We did have a discussion about that at last month's meeting, and Directors Boudreau and Steves and myself, along with the assistance of Danette Marquardt, helping us out with verbiage here. It is as follows. It's on board book, etc. Proposal of Faribault Public Schools. The new mission statement is Faribault Public Schools partners with families and the community to educate, elevate, and empower every student to achieve their full potential. Every Falcon, every day. It is a discussion item. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Director Boudreau.
I just thank the group, the board that met to discuss this for coming up with something different. So we will not have the statement that is behind us. This will replace that. And I'm very pleased with it, and I thank everyone for coming to this conclusion.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Director Wolf?
Mr. Chair, so this is the first reading, so we're in July. My assumption is then unless there's major changes or something that you hear tonight, we'd see this in August at the school board at a regular business meeting, and then we'd vote on it then for a second reading, or what's?
That is correct. Second reading and voting for approval, yes.
Okay, so between now and then, community members or anybody else that sees this, that has any thoughts?
Certainly.
Chime in or communicate with us. Thank
Great
you.
point. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Chair,
Director
sorry,
Woodruff.
I was assuming we'd pass it tonight, so
No, first
that was
reading.
my mistake.
No, no, it's okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Director Moore?
Yes, I guess what I'd like to know is, define community. I know in one of the first session that I went to, we wanted to get equitable out of the mission statement. But just because you get equitable out doesn't mean, like the DEI stuff, doesn't mean in practical application that we are taking it out. So I think this can be just we're not getting to the meat of it, I don't think. And as I mentioned with that first, with the Safer Communities grant that they actually had, it's actually there. It's in blatant, the DEI. How are you going to implement DEI into the programs? And so, and the community partners that were involved in that were the community school coordinator, community ed director, youth programs coordinator. I assume we have to go through all those. So what I'm saying is that we still may be advocating for DEI. But I think the key that I would like to see is total transparency. Let's bring out every hidden agenda in the Faribault Public Schools. Maybe it's DEI, whatever it is, especially with the programs and grants. If we bring it out into the open, then if the community wants it, well, so be it. Majority wins. But I just feel that we need to be more open and honest. And just because it doesn't say something there doesn't mean that we don't do it. It's the practical application. So that's my...
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Director Steves.
Well, Ms. Moore, with all due respect, as someone who showed up to all of the visioning and mission statements, I take a little bit of pride in this new mission statement and the vision statement. Again, as someone who showed up, to me, in this context, community means family. I guess not everything has a hidden agenda, and it's a rhetorical question, but where in this vision statement, where in this mission statement does it show you that we have a hidden agenda? Because I'm completely transparent, and there's been multiple times where you've accused this board and this district of being untransparent when we are a public entity. Every conversation that we have happens in the public's view. Every budget item is privy to the public. I don't know how to simplify it. I guess in my opinion, it's frustrating because there are so many people that put their each and all every day, and I feel like for you to poo-poo this is really disrespectful, especially when you didn't show up.
I showed up for the first one, but I did say our first priority should be the DEI, and that's what I told Mr. Benty and Mr. Bellingham. I said, I think we should do this first because there are elements of DEI in some of this. And the fact that our budget is transparent, it is transparent in the sense that the public can look at it, but it is not transparent in the sense that I would like to see all these grants and these programs. I want to see how much.
You can see a grant.
Pardon?
Anybody in this community has access to see grants. Any public money is completely and 100% transparent.
Is it within the budget?
Yeah.
We need to look in the budget.
School finance is completely, it's very difficult. It took me a very long time to understand and a lot of questions to both of our former finance directors. It's something that I feel like is evolving, but I feel like before I was on the school board and now while I'm on the school board, anytime that I've asked a question about a specific budget line item, I didn't start caring about school budgets when I joined the school board. I cared about them when I became a taxpayer. So for you to insinuate that they're not transparent is asinine, and it's frustrating. And any person that you've ever asked, and in my experience, again, anytime that I've ever asked Mr. Benty, any of our former, current and former administrators, specific questions in relation to the budget, and it's not just directed specifically at school districts. Anytime that I ask our city administrator, our county administrator, our state, and I do have contacts at the federal level, specific questions, I get specific answers, and I get real answers. So for you to insinuate that we're hiding things in vision proposals and memorandums, it's frustrating, and it's really uncalled for.
May I respond?
Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, when I do ask questions, I get answers fairly quickly and in detail. I am talking about the public now, because when the public goes to and looks at the district budget as it is, what I would like to see is the programs, with the various programs that we have. How much money, how much money do we put in salaries and things like that? The budget is very difficult to understand, and I know that. I've been told that probably only one person really understands it in Minnesota when I went to the MSBA. But I don't think, the fact that we can look it up, but at the same time, it's very difficult for the public to see what are the programs, how many people do we have on the program, and I don't want names, but how many positions, and really they can look at that, and I think we should also see too what the achievement level is, because look at this, is anything we're doing, is it raising this? And we can have all the anecdotal evidence that we want. My kids did good in school, one of them had struggled. But we can have all the anecdotal, but here's some statistics. And the fact that to me, with this grant, I did not know about this until the one that I presented before. And I know there's other programs that have DEI in them. And to me, that is not transparent to the public. And I'm sorry you feel that way, but my job is to make sure that I do what the constituents that put me in, even though I know you said to me one time I represent all constituents, but so do you. So
You're absolutely right.
So,
Mr. Chair,
go ahead, Director Boudreaux.
so the definition of community is a unified body of individuals such as the people with common interests living in a particular area. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's not, there's no hidden agenda in community. And I don't believe there's a hidden agenda in our school district either. But we have to adhere to our state laws. Our state laws I don't agree with. I don't agree with some of the mandates they bring on us and some of the teaching methods they bring on us. But that is something for another day because changes are coming, I believe. But I do like this mission statement. And I'm hoping that when we bring it up again, that we'll have everyone on board in supporting it.
So do you have something, Mr. Wolf? Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, thank you for the time. I didn't attend all of them. I had a scheduling conflict, I believe, with one of them, but I attended all the other ones. Mr. Chair, you had mentioned earlier that we had some lively debate on this, and I think that's very accurate. I hope all the public understands. The word lively is a little bit subjective, but I can tell you it was interesting, and it was dynamic. And at no time, Ms. Moore, as you mentioned, you weren't there by choice. At no time did we talk about DEI in this conversation. So I just want the public to know. We had 3 or 4 board retreats? 3. I missed the first one. I was at the last 2. The last one is where we really dialed in on this. And then, as you mentioned, several of you took this and worked to refine this. At no point was DEI part of this. And so I just want the community to know that's being as open and honest and transparent as you can be. I get it. Not everybody in the community was here. But for me, community means Faribault and all the people that make up our community. And however you want to define that, Ms. Moore, that's entirely up to you.
And I would like, if I may request, Director Boudreaux to send me that. I would like to see that, the community, the definition of community. If you would send it to me. Thank you.
Mr. Dictionary.
No, send it to me. That's good. Thank you.
So from my chair here, in working on, especially on the mission statement, I just want to go back when Director Wolf had said, I believe this statement here probably is the epitome of compromise. And maybe some of our government systems should take a look at what happened there, because yeah, there was anger and there was words, but rational thinking came to order for the most part here. I would say I'm agreeable with this mission statement. However, I do have issues with some words that aren't in it or are in it, whatever. But I think for the common good, once again, it's easy in this day and age right now. It's easy to throw the blanket that everything's DEI and critical race theory and something could happen, or it's buried in here, whatever, that a conspiracy here in the school system and whatever. Example, just last week I was told, did you know the basement at the middle school is flooding? There's no basement in the middle school. It's a floating slab. Mr. Dodowich has worked on it, he knows. Really, so this is all the stuff that gets out here, whatever. And I said, oh, if it is, we'll get pumps and pump it out. So I just want to say, but we throw these blankets over everything and say, this could happen, this is what's happening, this was supposed to happen, we're waiting on this, whatever. We're doing our best here, and we're doing our best what is best for the kids, what's best for the district, and what's best for this community. I believe every board member up here is striving to do that. So I will support this. I believe it was a really good effort by 6 of us here to work on this and really get this something different and visionary, et cetera. So I want to thank everyone for that. Are there any final comments, discussion on this here? Okay, we'll move on to 10H. I'm sure everyone's about sick of hearing from me right now, but it's not going to be approval of I do not have any superintendent goals for approval here. Having just our work session last Monday and board members sending me those goals, superintendent goals based on the document that we had and possibly others. The ones that I have received, I have assimilated, have put them together, starting to analyze them or whatever. So I'll be blunt and honest, I am not ready for that whatsoever, not even close. So I will finish those this week here and meet with the Superintendent Evaluation Committee of Directors Boudreau and Director Robichaud, and also then either the whole committee and/or just I will go in to visit with Mr. Benty and get his perspective on those goals and how they work within the district and what we want, what we're looking for there. So that's what that's where I'm at this point. So my apologies for that. I didn't think I could turn it around in a week, but anyway, we'll do our best with that. But we will have it for a discussion here on the August 4th work session and approval in the August, I think it's 18th, board meeting. Yes, 18th. So that's where we're going to be at with that.
Mr. Chair, can I
Go ahead,
just-
Mr. Wolf.
I will be gone from that work session. I'm at some continuing education out of town, and so I would just reiterate, as we talked about last Monday, whatever the goals end up being, however you filter them out, just what does success look like?
Yes.
As it was mentioned last Monday, SMART goals, as we heard tonight, SMART goals are how important they are in terms of, are they achievable? Are they realistic? Are we all in alignment with them? Are they measurable? What does that look like, right? So anyway, I would just continue to strongly encourage that we're all in alignment with what does success look like and go from there.
It's great you mentioned that, because that is the one piece when I'm working on it, is the measuring piece. How do you to plug that into a goal or specific action plan or something like that. So that's what we're working on. So we'll go from there. Agenda item number 11, dates to remember, August 4th. Here's the work session. August 5th, Policy Committee. August 11th, Finance Committee. August 14th, Facilities Committee meeting. August 15th is a joint boards meeting at 11 a.m. at Buckham West. August 18th is our regular business meeting. And with that agenda item, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Knutson. Discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.